Friends, tonight on Monday Night Raw we witnessed a huge main event, the Usos versus Braun Breaker. But not just that, we also saw Roman Reigns making an appearance in Bronson Reed's match. Yes, Roman Reigns returned, and it was an absolutely shocking comeback. Somehow, someway, Roman Reigns is officially back and will be at Crown Jewel. This return created a massive buzz and hype around the match. Now friends, as I told you yesterday in the video, there were already predictions for Raw. I told you that in tonight's Monday Night Raw, we might again see some hints from Paul Heyman regarding Brock Lesnar. But friends, Paul Heyman didn't just tease Seth Rollins, this time he gave a big signal. Yes, on Monday Night Raw, alongside Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, we again saw a glimpse, a hint of Brock Lesnar. The way Heyman dropped that tease, it clearly pointed towards Survivor Series War Games, where Brock Lesnar may very well step inside the match and shake the entire WWE universe. Friends, Cody Rhodes reminded Seth Rollins that back in 2022, he defeated him 3 times in a row. And tonight on Raw, Cody said that history repeats itself and the same thing will happen at Crown Jewel. Seth Rollins, however, answered with full arrogance, saying he has control of everything now in WWE. Rollins even taunted Cody that he has 2 allies under his command, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, and whatever they do, it's all under his orders. That's when Cody dropped the bombshell, asking Seth Rollins if he was also working with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. Was that part of his so-called control? Seth confidently replied that even if Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman are planning something, that too is under his control. So friends, this was a massive tease, a clear sign that very soon the beast incarnate Brock Lesnar is coming back. And it looks like he will be a part of the Survivor Series War Games match. Now the big question, will Brock Lesnar join Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins to try and destroy Cody Rhodes, or will Brock make his own move? Because one thing is clear, Brock Lesnar belongs to no one. He is not a heel, he is not a face, Brock is Brock. He fights on his own terms, on his own conditions. That's what makes him the most dangerous man in WWE. Now friends, let's talk about the main event again. Tonight on Raw, in the steel chair segment, Roman Reigns was directly involved. Yes, Roman Reigns unleashed absolute chaos with steel chairs flying everywhere. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed got destroyed while the Usos kept the momentum going. In the end, it was the Usos who picked up the victory. But one big confusion still remained in everyone's mind. What exactly is the status between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso? The tension is still alive. Fans are asking, why is Roman still targeting Jey? Why is this story far from over? Friends, let me tell you this, tonight's Monday Night Raw was one of the strongest episodes in a long time. And the only reason for that is Roman Reigns. His return changed the entire vibe of the show. And on top of that, the tease for Brock Lesnar made things even bigger. So friends, the road to Crown Jewel and Survivor Series is looking absolutely massive. With Roman Reigns back, Brock Lesnar teased, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed in the mix, the WWE Universe is in for some shocking weeks ahead. Stay tuned because the war has just begun. The most important thing to me is getting Jimmy to the same level as Jey. On today's edition of Busted Open Radio, the focus turned to the dramatic conclusion of Monday Night Raw, where Roman Reigns made a shocking return that immediately shifted the balance within the Bloodline story. Dave LaGreca and Bully Ray broke down every aspect of the main event segment, analyzing not only the in-ring action but also the subtle post-match interactions that may have set the stage for the next chapter of the ongoing family drama. The night ended with a tornado tag team match featuring the Usos, but the bigger story came after the bell. Roman Reigns, absent for months, returned in the closing moments of the contest. His arrival was impactful as ever, tipping the scales in favor of the Usos and allowing them to score a victory they might not have achieved otherwise. Yet what followed was more telling than the interference itself. Roman entered the ring, bypassed Jimmy Uso, and made a beeline toward Jey Uso. With the world watching, Reigns pulled Jey into an emotional embrace and appeared to deliver a private, powerful message. Cameras captured the moment, though the broadcast had to mute parts of it due to Roman allegedly dropping strong language in his pep talk. According to LaGreca, Reigns told Jey that this was his time, his moment to seize control, punctuating it with a curse word that underscored the intensity of the exchange. The message was unmistakable. Roman was endorsing Jey and telling him to rise up to claim what was his. LaGreca interpreted the segment as Roman acknowledging Jey's fire and aggression, a trait that separates him from his brother. While Jimmy has often been portrayed as the peacemaker, the one trying to balance family loyalty with reason, Jey has increasingly leaned into a more ruthless mindset. In La Greca's view, Roman saw Jimmy's diplomacy as weakness, something that does not align with the dominance and control that the tribal chief demands. Jay, on the other hand, was positioned as someone who has begun to think more like Roman himself, willing to set aside softness in favor of strength. The embrace and whispered words were not just encouragement, they were recognition, a symbolic passing of momentum that firmly placed Jay by Roman's side. The interaction left fans buzzing, but it also opened the door to multiple interpretations, especially when it came to Jimmy's reaction. As Jay received the hug and endorsement, the camera caught Jimmy standing off to the side, his face filled with a mix of confusion and unease. Bully Ray zeroed in on that moment, raising questions about what exactly was going through Jimmy's mind. Was Jimmy shocked because Roman returned to make the save, feeling the weight of gratitude and surprise? Or was his expression rooted in jealousy, watching his brother receive the attention and validation he himself had long craved? The ambiguity of Jimmy's body language allowed for different readings, making the moment even more layered and intriguing. Bully Ray also scrutinized the decision for Roman to interfere in the first place. From a storytelling standpoint, he argued, the Usos should not have needed Roman's help to win a fair fight. A babyface team, especially one of the Usos' stature, should be able to earn a victory on their own. By requiring Roman's interference, the win became tainted, calling into question the credibility of the Usos as a united, independent force. Bully suggested that this might have been an intentional creative choice, emphasizing Roman's continued power and influence. Without him, the Usos falter. With him, they rise. It reinforces the idea that Roman remains the centerpiece of everything and no one else within the bloodline can succeed without his presence. As the conversation continued, La Greca outlined how he views the hierarchy within the bloodline following this segment. In his opinion, Roman remains the undisputed leader, the unquestioned number one. Beneath him now sits Jey Uso, who has been elevated by Roman's public endorsement. Jacob Fatu, who has recently joined the fold, was pegged as the third key figure. This leaves Jimmy Uso noticeably outside the inner circle, his role diminished and his influence fading. For La Greca, the visual was intentional. WWE wants fans to see that Jimmy is being pushed to the sidelines while Jay climbs higher. The imagery of the closing moments reinforced this interpretation. Roman and Jay celebrated together, standing tall as Jimmy looked on from the background. The shot felt deliberate, a cliffhanger designed to keep viewers speculating. La Greca suggested that WWE is not ready to pull the trigger on a major fracture just yet. Instead, the creative team may be planting seeds of dissent, slowly building tension that will blossom into a larger story in the weeks to come. Jimmy's unsettled expression was not a throwaway detail, it was a piece of the puzzle, a visual cue meant to keep fans questioning his place in the family dynamic. For La Greca, the embrace between Roman and Jay symbolized far more than just family loyalty. It was a statement about power, positioning, and the future of the bloodline. Jay's willingness to adopt Roman's cutthroat philosophy made him the natural heir apparent, at least in Roman's eyes. Jimmy's compassion and restraint, once admirable, are now liabilities. This philosophical divide between the brothers is what makes the story so compelling, as it mirrors real family struggles where different personalities clash over values, direction, and respect. Bully Ray closed the discussion by circling back to the confusion surrounding Jimmy's reaction. He emphasized that ambiguity is often the most powerful storytelling tool in wrestling. When the audience cannot quite figure out what a character is thinking, it creates anticipation and debate. Jimmy's silent glance at Roman could mean admiration, resentment, or suspicion, and that uncertainty will keep fans engaged. The fact that Roman returned in such dramatic fashion only heightened the stakes, reminding everyone that whenever he steps into the spotlight, the dynamics within WWE change instantly. By the end of the segment, the narrative was clear. Roman Reigns had not only re-established his dominance but also reshaped the bloodline's internal power structure. Jey Uso had been elevated, Jimmy Uso had been sidelined, and the entire WWE universe was left wondering what comes next. As La Greca noted, WWE may be playing the long game, carefully watering the seeds of conflict before letting them explode. For now, the spotlight shines on Roman and Jay, while Jimmy lingers in the shadows, his next move uncertain. The return of Roman Reigns was not just about interference in a match, it was about redefining the roles of those around him. In one hug and a few muted words, the tribal chief shifted the narrative, leaving fans eager to see how long this fragile balance can hold before it fractures once again.